Hi guys, welcome back to Hardcastle Homestead. It has been a hot second since we have been together. If you are still here with me, channel is still very new, no offenses taken. I'm hoping by this time next year, my goal is to get 2 videos out a week. That's just going to be my personal goal for 2024. Both promoting what's going on, like vlog style as well as education style. Hey, no. Those are beets. I've got my toddler here, and we are really wanting to help Mom in the garden. It has been increasingly growing with desire. So we are going to turn those beds next year into a kid garden is the goal, so that she has something to do when we are out here, because at that point she will be almost 3. But kind of going in, the summer garden is fading, and you'll see that the tomato wall, it got to be about 8 feet tall, and we had a huge rainstorm. They're hanging down, but they're curved hanging down, so it could be a lot worse. And so there's definitely a definition, a pathway. Sorry, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. But my goal is honestly to rip everything out before the end of September. Our last frost date here in Springfield, Missouri is not until around October 15th, October 20th. Or not last, our first frost date. My neighbors, because I live in city though, they do have a few piles of cars in the backyard that are full of water, and the mosquitoes have just got increasingly worse this year. Nothing against them. We're in city life. This is urban. I'm not telling them what to do with their yard. I'm just explaining to you if you see me dying from mosquitoes. Promise it's not my yard. But, not to be negative, that is mean. We still have a lot of things growing from our summer garden, as well as we have started to plant some of our fall garden. This is real life. This is what it looks like. There is no sugar coating here. The garden has gone wild. So, and we just have so much. Don't even know what to do with a lot of it besides what we already are doing, which is canning. We pretty much are good to go on our tomato sauces, on our cowgirl chutney. We're good on our salsas for the season. I'm good on my diced tomatoes for all my different dishes this fall and winter. I don't really like canning green beans. I only eat them fresh, so I choose to only eat them when they're in season. And our green beans are definitely starting to feel the sun. Now I'm just letting the last few stay on. And what I'm going to be doing is harvesting the seeds, so I don't have to buy some next year, honestly. This bed, I am leaving all of my basils that were over here. And right now they're just for the pollinators, as well as the basils right here. Also, there are totally grasshoppers doing it right now in this basil bush. For those that enjoy funny humor like that. If you find it funny, if not, I'm sorry. Peppers have exploded. And within all this basil is a bunch of Dracula's, lemon drops, trick jalapenos, and Anaheim's, and hatch chili peppers. So, and also what's really fun over here is I have a wall of dahlias now. My one dahlia plant collapsed, and I just never pulled it or cut it back, and it's amazing what the garden will do on its own when you're at capacity and you can't handle everything in the garden and your personal life, because the garden continued. I have not watered my garden since the end of July. So I think it's looking pretty good. We have had a lot of rain, timing perfectly. You can see here my Dr. Witchies got very heavy. So really the only things that have suffered are the things in my green stalks, and that's full error of the user here, not of the green stalks. They are amazing. I can't believe how long they lasted for me not watering them, honestly. But green stalks will be emptied soon, and what I like to do is keep the soil in there, but I like to rebalance the soil with, I use Down to Earth brand. And I do that with a blend of worm casting for just, I think it's just vegetable garden is what it's labeled, but it's basically a 4-4-4 on its number scales for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And it gives equal parts nutrition back. And since I'm honestly gonna be probably doing flowers and herbs in them next year, I will reapply in the spring after the winter season, probably one for specifically flowers to really focus on the phosphorus. So in here, I've got the wheelbarrow. It's full of, honestly, tomato branches. Iris, you showing the world what we're doing? I pulled the tomatoes off of this trellis, and this trellis, I'm just letting the green beans do its own things. But the back trellis, and then both these sides of this trellis, as well as just this side of this trellis, are all replanted with sugar snap peas. I'm mainly doing spring blush, the magnolia, purple, sweet peas, or sugar snap peas. Oh wow, that's some sass. She just shut the garden gate on me. How rude. And just a standard snap pea, a green snap pea. Very prolific, hoping to get peas, and we don't have an early first frost. This hodgepodge bed that we've had all year had 2 surviving lettuces down here, and then my gladiolas need to be cut back. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with these side beds because I really want to be intentional next year, and thoughts in the comment section are greatly appreciated. I've got 18 beds. I do not plan to expand anymore. It's just for having a dog and a child, they deserve to have part of the yard too. So the beds that I have are the beds that I'm keeping. I don't want to put any orchard stuff in yet because the property is just not big enough for it. So I'll probably be transitioning to the front yard when it comes to like apple trees or peach trees. Back here is the hot mess. We'll see if I can keep my word. It's a lot of like pokeweed. In Springfield, we do, sorry, making sure it's not dog poop. It's not, it's just black walnut, which is this beautiful tree here. In Missouri, or in Springfield, with our city ordinance, which it's very important to check with your city ordinances, we are allowed to have 6 chickens on our property. So my goal is to get 6 hens, and I'm going for more, like, I don't eat a lot of eggs. My family doesn't eat a lot of eggs. But also I don't want to get in the meat bird thing while we're still in our urban garden setting. That will be for more when we invest in our property we want to get, which is a few years away for anyone that's curious. But some eggs would be nice for baking and cooking. And this one does like scrambled eggs in our household, but she's pretty much the only one that eats eggs. So I don't need a heavy egg laying flock, honestly. I will probably be getting pretty chickens that I like. We are not allowed roosters, which I understand a lot of city ordinances do not allow roosters, but that's fine with me. But what I'm planning to do is find a dog kennel or buy one, wrap that, then do some extra security around the base, do a tarp over half of it, have a coop inside of it. It's gonna be a static coop. That's just what we have to work with here. I will let the chicks free range when I'm out in the garden, but all of that's going to be under mommy supervision. So that'll be a fun experience. I'm hoping though, especially at like the end of seasons when we transition like this, my hope is actually to let the chickens come out and scratch up the soil when it's time to put the beds to rest for winter, and get some of the eggs and larvae and other stuff that's waiting for the spring in their bellies to have a better, well-rounded diet, and for my garden to not maybe be pulverized by pests. This year wasn't horrible, but the squash bugs did really affect the squash. I knew they would. I still wanted to try anyway. I did try succession planting. It didn't work. The only thing, and it's funny enough, these loofah there's one plant. This trellis is 4 feet wide. Let me take you through this magic. Can you see that? Like, it's huge. And then on this side, I can't even remember the variety anymore. I put seeds in the ground and it took forever for them to actually pop up and germinate, but they did. And after all the squash were decimated, the loofah just exploded. I only put one seed in and it never came up, so I just thought it wasn't gonna come up, so I replanted the squash here. And now I have 1, 2, I mean, look, can you see this? Like, my whole arm. If I go up to the top, it's bigger than my forearm and my hand put together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loofah squashes with 1 seed that I didn't even think was germinated. And then also, I don't remember the purple bean, but it's a viney purple bean I got from MI Gardener, I believe. 1 seed as well. And that whole thing is just covered in beans. I love it though. So that is plans right now. Hopefully those, especially the loofah sponge, because it got such a late start, I don't think it's going to be able to have enough time to get where the inside the guts get that porousness because they get dried out to actually make loofah sponges. But I'd love suggestions on what I can actually do with it while it's at its current size. And yeah, we've got radishes in the ground, kohlrabi in the ground, beets in the ground. My plan is this weekend we are going to get lettuce in the ground as well as kale. I am going to the bed that has all the peppers and basil over here. The plan for those is actually to get, sorry, my minion. I love her though. My plan for that section is actually, since I already have like the bars put in the ground for the rebar, to do a low tunnel and try and do cabbage in there again and potentially Brussels sprouts. I don't know yet though. I've never successfully grown Brussels sprouts, but I've only ever tried them in the spring. And the dream is when we get that property in 3-4 years, the dream at that point would be to actually apply for a state or federal program for getting a high tunnel put on the property after the property is surveyed. That will take time. Hopefully funds are there when that point comes around, but that's what the eventual goal will be, so that I can overwinter grow cool weather crops, because in my zone, that is something that's completely feasible. It's just in the lower tunnels, you are more susceptible because I don't have frost cloth. I just have sheets, like not bed sheets, but like plastic greenhouse sheets. So that is the challenge that I would be facing in this current garden. But I'm up for the challenge. So without making this video too long, I just know I haven't been on here since July and it's now September 19th. I just wanted to kind of do a check-in so you guys know that we're still here. I still want to make content, but if we're coming from a place of just transparency and truth, it's been one of those summers where a lot came at us. We're making it, we're doing fine, but now it's to the point where I hit capacity, and the thing I had to take a break from was YouTube, and was starting to work on the content creator side of putting out educational material and vlogs for those who are new into the world of gardening and those who have been here for a while. I'm passionate. This is where my heart is meant to be led. Now, this may not be the season for it to happen, but it is the end goal to share that education. And it's kind of like that saying that we have in life, something always has to be sacrificed. It's either time or it's money, with where we are right now, with where our home place is. Like with a garden, you can spend the money, you can go out, you can buy the organic farm fresh sauce, but you're paying in our area for that $8 to $11 for a quart. or I can spend the time to save that money, spend my time instead of my money making it at home. That's how I would rather do it. So this season I had to decide time or money to sacrifice. I sacrificed my time, unfortunately, to make money to put us in a better spot so we can get to that dream faster of the homeschool and the homestead and the photography business and a bunch of other stuff that just, if you're a mom, you get it. There's like 50 different things going on in your brain all at once, and we don't always get everything we dream of in this moment, but if we pursue and we continue to dream, it will be possible. You just have to be patient, which is really hard sometimes. It's a gorgeous 80-degree day here, which I'm loving today. We are outside with our boots and our shorts, or at least she is. I'm wearing sweatpants because mosquitoes. Shit, they don't bother her, they bother me. But yeah, I just wanted to pop on in here. I know this video is getting kind of long. It's getting kind of drawn out. Should have probably ended it 2 minutes ago. But I really do miss making the content with you guys. And I'm hoping by this time next year, let's just make a goal, a commitment here I'm making to you. My goal next year is to put out at least 50 videos within the season. I will continue to make videos through this fall as we go into the fall garden, as we go into storing things, as I continue to work on my knowledge when it comes to herbal and medicinal. Continue my knowledge on how to keep a toddler entertained while trying to hit all these dreams. And who knows, we might even get into it a little bit with some of my hobbies outside of doing the garden, because the garden's more than just a hobby for me. But I look forward to taking that adventure with you guys. And yeah, just make sure, looking up. Hi. Just make sure to go outside and get your hands dirty. We love you, bless you guys. Bye.